Welcome back. Today we're going through the process, or my process, of how I've made the floor pan for my 1959 Volkswagen Beetle rat trap. The car itself is a rat, but it doesn't mean that the running gear and the floor pans have to be. I really like the process of making things look nice, but I also like rats. So this is the original pan. It came off a 1958 VW Bug that I had. The body on it was too far gone. As you can see, it's covered in years and years of grime, the grease from an oil and dust and road grime was really thick on this car. It took a lot of work just to actually get the initial clean off. It took me a lot of time with a gurney and just scraping off layers and layers. It was actually coming off in sheets, and believe it or not, there's still some of it on my driveway. It just does not go away. I ended up removing that engine and passing it on. This is it after the initial clean. You can actually see the steering box there, and the front beam, you can see rust on it. That's the original split swing axle gearbox, which I discarded. I decided not to use it. I don't think it would handle the horsepower of the engine that I'm putting in there. I decided to go with an IRS conversion. I had an IRS rear end sitting there, so I used the components off it. Originally, I was planning on using a Subaru gearbox and putting a WRX engine in this car, as I have a Subaru engine in another car of mine, but I later on changed my mind. This is the trailing arms sitting in, so that all went really well, except I ended up having a clash problem with the shock tower. Using an early pan with the IRS, the shock towers are different on the later pans, so I wasn't aware that this was going to happen. And the floor pan didn't end up getting as low as I would have liked. It was still sitting quite high off the ground, and what I really wanted in this car was completely slammed. I was hoping to make a pan dragger. Now that didn't quite happen. I didn't quite get to that point, but I decided I really had to do something about this. I mean, as you can see there, it was, if on full aired out, it was just going to be completely locked out. So I decided to notch the trailing arms. There's the process there. I used 8mm steel for all the notching and actually welded internal gussets as well to make it really strong. These are the airbag mounts. I made them out of angle iron 50x50 by 5mm. It was something I had in the shop and it worked out really well. I didn't have to get anything laser cut that way. A lot of grinding, but the end result was pretty good. As you can see there, they mount up and they weld onto the shock tower. So that's one side there, done, and you can see it there mounted with the airbags and the notched trailing arm there. That's at actual raised height, and that's at fully lowered height. It will actually sit a bit lower with an engine in. That airbag will squish down a bit more, but you can see it sits really parallel, which is what I was hoping for. I really wanted to, a flat looking airbag setup. Didn't want any twist in them. So there's the other side mocked in. Was a lot of work to do that. There's the front beam. I decided to do that at the same time. I narrowed it by 2 inches just to get the wheels tucked in under the guards, and welded adjusters into that as well. Cut off the bump stops and cleaned it up pretty good. Just kind of tried to tidy it up a bit. There it is with a coat of black. I ended up deciding to paint that aluminium silver color, which I thought looked really cool. There's the car sitting on the ground, so that's how low it actually sits, and you can see with the IRS setup, the rear wheels aren't tucked in as they would with the swing axle gearbox. I don't mind the tuck look myself. I've got it on another couple of my cars. So this is the floor pan. Just pulled it out of the booth. I used Raptor liner down the sides and gloss 2-pack black for the rest of it. I really like the gloss look, but I just wanted to break it up with a bit of Raptor liner. Here's the top of it. You can see you can see how high it can raise actually with the airbags. So that's with the arms drooped all the way down. It's got the rear disc conversion from John Sherman from Volks Conversions in the Gold Coast. He does a really good job. If you guys are looking for it, you know he'll be able to supply you whatever you need for that. He also supplies the front drop spindles and disc conversions, so you don't actually end up, a lot of disc conversions make your car wider, his don't. You can see there the paint colour I chose for the front beam. I think the contrast looks really nice. It was just something a bit different. So there's the original pan again, just to give you a bit of an idea of how far I came. And this is it. So this was the first mock-up. I mean, you put these things together and you pull them apart many times in the build process. It's just, you just hope you don't come across any real bad issues after you've already painted it. There were some issues. And here's the finished product. So with the seats mounted, and here's a sneaky look at the turbo motor. So this is a 1600 turbo that I'm building. This is not going to be the final engine in the car, but just something I've been playing around with. Thanks a lot.